All right. Well, Rob, big story coming out of Washington. The Commanders, not a new coach, Ron Rivera still there, but Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, the new one. Of course, he has been with the Kansas City Chiefs the last 10 years and won 2 Super Bowls coordinating for Andy Reid and, of course, Patrick Mahomes. And the story is that his intensity, yelling, the writers are saying that, the reporters, that you hear him above all the coaches yelling when it's encouragement or instructions or chastisement. He's loud. And Rivera was asked about it, and here's what he said.
I had a number of guys come to me, and I said, hey, just go talk to him. I said, understand what he's trying to get across to you, and I think as they go and they talk and they listen to him, it's been enlightening for a lot of these guys. I mean, it's a whole different approach. You get a different kind of player from the players back in the past, especially in light of how things are coming out of college football. So a lot of these young guys, they do struggle with certain things. Eric has an approach, and it's the way he does things, and he's not going to change, and because he believes in it. Jack has his approach. Having been a head coach, I think Jack has a tendency to try and figure guys out a little bit more, as opposed to, hey, this is it, this is the way it's going to be, that type of stuff. Where Eric hasn't had that experience yet.
Just when they came to you, it was just they felt like Eric was riding them too hard, or?
Well, they just were a little concerned.
All right, and Bieniemy was asked about it after practice. Rivera spoke before practice. And Bieniemy was asked after. Here's what he said.
Yes, I am intense. And I would be afraid, too, to start if I didn't know him. Eric Bieniemy is who he is, okay? Eric Bieniemy knows how to adapt and adjust. Eric Bieniemy is a tough, hard-nosed coach. But also understand, I'm going to be their biggest and harshest critic. But I'm also their number one fan because I got their back and I'm going to support them at all times.
Now, this, Rob G., I want you to get on the mic because you said you've seen it all over television. I have not, but this has become a huge story. NFL Network.
Absolutely. It's called Not Much Going On in Training Camp.
I'm going to say, go ahead, Rob G., explain.
Yeah, it's
this.
huge, and there seems to be a little bit of a divide. I mean, it's like a Venn diagram, if you can remember what that is. There's a large faction of people who are upset at the players for saying you have a losing culture. A guy comes in fresh off a Super Bowl and is trying to instill a program, and you're hurt feelings because he's too loud and direct about it. You have another group of people who are saying, yeah, what the players did was terrible, but let's not forgive Ron Rivera for going public and airing laundry out like this about his new offensive coordinator who has struggled to get a head coaching job because of some whatever narrative around him. And then you have people that are equally blaming both sides and saying this whole thing in Washington is a mess.
All right. Well, you mentioned Bieniemy's history of not being able to get a head job despite his great success as an OC. 17 times, Rob, he has interviewed for jobs with 16 different teams. That is unbelievable. That's half the league. And he hasn't gotten a job. That is strange right there. As far as Rivera, look, Rivera clearly is a straight shooter. You remember, Rob, last year when I believe it was last year when he called their quarterback situation a disaster. Now it was, but saying it publicly, it became a bigger story than it had to. Here's what I'll say about Rivera. He's being honest, but I just don't know that you need to tell everything to the public. And by saying that the players were concerned, I don't think he had any ill intent. Why would he? I mean, he needs the offense to be better, and he needs Bieniemy to succeed. And it didn't sound from the tone of his voice or anything like he had any, vendetta, and he was trying to put it out there and, soil Bieniemy in any way. But if you don't say that, you don't put that out there that the players were concerned, then it's not a story at all. That's the thing. Like, this is maybe it was something in the locker room. Maybe it was something they really had to address, and maybe it was something serious because players were scared or hurt or couldn't handle the screaming and yelling or whatever. But I don't think it's great for us as the media, but I don't think you as the head coach should make that public. And then I'll get off quickly after I say this, Rob, and let you go. And we'll get to this a little later. Players have to be able to handle a coach being intense, and even if he's yelling. I mean, that's just. I think there's a lot of football where that happens, and you get yelled at. I don't know that unless he's being just utterly disrespectful to guys. We saw the situation with Urban Meyer, where he was clearly going too far, kicked the player. But, just yelling, being intense, I don't think that should bother players. But what are your thoughts, Rob?
A lot to do about nothing. I mean, everybody has different approaches. If he was soft-spoken, Chris, and quiet, they would say he's running a country club. Like that would be the knock on him. That he's soft and, like – it's barely like he cares. You know what? Like you can't win. Like you can't win. So there's always something, and it's fine. That's the way today's players are. It's just different. I mean, coaching is one thing. Kicking somebody or being disrespectful or name calling, that's something else. But just saying that he's intense and trying, and they say it. It's not just on the negative when you're doing something wrong, but it's both. So once I heard that, I'm good with it. Because if it was just lopsided or one-sided, then maybe I could, feel a certain way. But that's just who he is, how he's wired. And it's a shame. I mean, that is such a big deal on coaching. And it's funny how, like, certain coaches get a reputation. The one I always go to, Chris, is when Buddy Ryan punched Kevin Gilbride during a game. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember that.
On the sidelines.
On the sidelines, right?
Yep. Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator, Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator. Kevin Gilbride won a couple of Super Bowls with the Giants as the OC, Chris. He was, matter of fact, the head coach at Southern Connecticut. I knew him personally, Kevin. But when they did that, you know what they said? Instead of saying, how should Buddy do that? He should be fired. You know what I mean? To have physical contact with another coach and whatever. You know what they said? That's Buddy. That's Buddy.
Right.
That's the kind of guy he is. He's a fiery kind of guy. When Billy Martin was manager of the Yankees, he's fighting people in the elevator, in the bar, hotel bar, Chris. That's Billy. He had a couple drinks, and that's just who he is.
Well, like you said the other day, was it yesterday when you talked about Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson having a fight?
In the dugout.
Yeah.
In the dugout during a game, Yankees-Red Sox in Boston. I watched the game on NBC as a kid. The manager and the star player having a fight in the dugout during the game. And that's why I'm not that bent out of shape.
What do you think about Rivera saying it?
I mean, I'm with you to a certain extent. And this is what I was talking about with what happened in Denver and
Sean Payton.
Yeah, Sean Payton and stuff. Certain things you just don't have to say. And I don't know if because they ask you the question, do you have to? He has his own coaching style. We believe in what he's doing. That's why he's here. That's why we brought him here.
Right.
This guy just helped the Kansas City Chiefs win 2 Super Bowls. That's where we want to be. We want to be around winners and people who have won and people who have dug deep and have had to overcome obstacles. That's the speech I would have given on Eric Bieniemy. That's why he's here. And if the players don't get it, then maybe we won't get there.
And I don't even know if you need to say that, but your first statement, if Rivera says that, you know what else that does? That reinforces to the players.
He's here.
This dude's in control.
Yes.
Like, do what he says. Listen to him. And I think Rivera is a straight shooter. He's honest. He's open. And we've seen it before where he just tells it like it is. And there's, you got to respect that. But to your point, stuff will be twisted. stuff can get twisted. And the fact that this has become a huge story is now something they got to deal with, even if it's just asking a bunch of questions about it. But tomorrow, guess what the questions are going to be about? To not only the coaches, but the players. And so it's just a little bit of a distraction that you probably didn't need. I don't know if it's going to be if it's a big deal with the team, if it's going to continue to be that or not, but it does seem like a story's been created that didn't have to be. And so that's where this
He's the first football coach to yell at players?
Well, that's Rob. I mean, I started playing football in third.
How many times did you get chewed
grade.
out?
Well, we were the older kids always told, yo, you better be, if you're going to play football, you better be ready to get yelled at. You better be ready, and so we were prepared for it. It wasn't a big deal. And so, yeah, if the players can't handle being yelled at, come on. Y'all, I don't know how much winning y'all going to be doing.